Hey, BioE 131. This is Russ with Module 15 on writing. We're going to do the nice topic finding and drafting. So, what topic finding? What are you going to write? 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 Notice I said it like 3 or 4 different ways and it had different meanings. You can't do that when you write. You only get to say it once. So the other thing I forgot to mention in the introduction is you only have one shot at the reader. So you have to make sure that what you write is perfectly understandable, because if they don't understand, the only thing they can do is go back and reread it. So what are you going to write? Okay, so you have an assignment. Remember, the whole theme here is I'm trying to get you psyched about doing this wherever you are in the middle of COVID-19. If this is a future generation watching it, COVID-19 was a pandemic. It was a pain in the neck. We all were different places. We weren't get together. Read about COVID-19 if you don't know what I'm talking about, and if we would decide to reuse these lectures. Okay, Russ, focus. Few obvious things. There will be a prompt. Read the freaking prompt, right? We tell you what we want. Sometimes we even have a rubric, okay, which is like, this is what we're looking for. Read them over and over and over again. Make sure you know them cold. Do the readings that are relevant. Obviously, you should do all the readings, but do the readings that are relevant for an assignment. Watch the modules that are relevant, okay? Review the class if you need to. Class review, since we're taping everything, good. That's all good. Boom, boom, boom. So it's all basic stuff. So you understand the question, you understand the vocabulary, you kind of see what we're after. But then you have to figure out, what am I going to write? And remember, you're being easy on yourself. I have a tendency to be hard on myself all the time, so I have to remember this is easy. So you use Google to like look around and see what's there. You take a walk and think about the problem. You maybe draft some bullet points. The reason I'm being a little bit cagey there is that means you're sitting down at a computer, and a lot of this might not be at a computer, but maybe you write down some bullet points or some what I would call a sound bite, just like a little idea or phrase. Talk to other people. You know, we haven't talked about study sections, but you could have study sections in this class. Get together with a couple of people in this class, talk about stuff. Maybe do some extra research. That's like the Google. Ponder whether this problem and prompt has any relevance to your life, your real life. Imagine how you would explain it to somebody who's not in the class, to a loved one, or at least a liked one, or at least, you know, you don't hate them. So how would you describe it? How would you articulate your opinion if you were sitting at dinner, at a dinner table? What is your opinion? Okay. The thing is, it's really going to be hard to write until you find yourself at a place with a point of view. So what this is all going towards is identifying your point of view, your perspective, your opinion on the whole thing. You don't have to, at this point, totally, remember, we're being nice to ourselves. You don't have to totally have a airtight logic about why it's your opinion. You know, if you've done the reading, if you've listened to things in class, you're going to be able to justify the things you're thinking. But the first thing is to figure out what your point of view, what your perspective is. So we could go on and on for deciding what to write, but I want to be easy on yourself, figure out which direction you think you're going in, and be ready that you might have to change your mind. Then you get to drafting. Drafting, and this is sitting in front of a computer. Okay, so usually you're going to be typing, but some people like to write, and I totally support that. Again, this is where we're being easy on ourselves. Bullets are good, bullet points that you can then move around to turn them into some kind of like logical computer program. References are going to come way later. I would think about an outline, and I have some tips about outlines. Outlines can be good or bad. A bad outline is just topics, which are like noun phrases without any verbs. So that would be like intro, framework, you know, like a utilitarian or Kantian, pros, cons, conclusion. that is a bad outline because you really haven't done much work, and that outline is compatible with almost any point of view, perspective, or opinion. So please don't let yourself do that, even though we're being easy on ourselves. Okay, fine, you can do it, but quickly after you do it, just tighten up a little bit to go to the what I think is a good outline, which is a series of declarative statements. Okay, so a good outline, declarative statements. So those in general will have nouns and verbs. So include some verbs. So a good outline is not intro, but let's take a topic like we were talking about respirators. And let's say you liked option 2 in the respirator discussion about ventilators and who should get access to them. The intro, instead of saying intro, you could say option 2 with SOFA plus medium range outcomes is best. You've declared something. Framework. You don't say framework, say, I'm assessing this as a Kantian. Already, like, I'm so happy to see this outline because I can see where you're going. Pros. Rights, basic rights for humans dictate life, fairness. Okay, that's a little unclear, but it's declarative, and you can see how it could turn into a pro for option 2. I'm going to admit that there's some violation of autonomy, let's say, and there might be some justice issues. Haven't fully fleshed it out, but like I'm getting in the ballpark. And then now you actually already gave your conclusion at the top. I am not a big fan of conclusions in 1,000 or 1,200 word essays. If your reader can't remember what you literally just said like 7 sentences ago, then concluding is not going to be helpful. But you might want to tie it together, not conclude it, but do the synthesis of the rights and the violations, creating a balance. A synthesis of rights violation creates a balance in favor of option 2 for option 2. Now, look, I did a lot more work here than I did here. So yes, that got me an outline, but it was content free. This made me do a little bit of work. I'm already beginning to see how an outline may go. And it gets me to the point that I love to say, which is if you have a good outline, then your open-minded skeptic, if they agree with every sentence every topic sentence in your outline, they don't need to read the rest of the paragraph. So we haven't gotten to paragraphs yet, but the idea of a paragraph, I think you all know this from like 3rd grade, is a topic sentence and then the supporting sentences. Okay, that's a paragraph. This is the topic sentence. In general, you should write so that the topic sentence is a non-obvious statement that if your open-minded skeptic reader, if you're lucky enough that they agree with you, then they'll just say, oh, I don't need to read the rest of the paragraph. I agree, yes. Yeah, there are some basic rights like life and fairness that have to be respected. So I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna go to the next one. So that's why, if you've ever noticed, reading a well-written essay takes way less time than reading a bad essay. Because a well-written essay, the topic sentences are very clear. You can really gloss through the paragraphs that you already agree with. And if you're, as a skeptic, you can focus on those those paragraphs where the topic sentence is a little bit iffy. And then you can see, okay, did this person make the argument well? So drafting. So outlines, that's a lot on outlines. Get the initial text written somehow. You're being easy on yourself. It may be that your outline has things in the wrong order. It may be that there's gaping holes in the argument. You will figure out that later. So bottom line, for picking the topic that you're going to be focusing on and what your perspective is, and then drafting with declarative sentences. That'll get you through the nice to yourself segment of the writing, and will prepare you for the now I'm going to become tough as nails, which will be the next discussion. Thank you. See you later.